a very cursory analysis that'll say, based on the information you've provided, we can have you debt free in 11.2 years, saving you $73,000 in interest. And then that's enough to say, okay, do your free trial. Now, to give you the crazy, most honest answer, Stephanie, we talked a little bit about how the three companies came together, in that I was already running successfully the debt elimination software under another name. It was called MoneyWise. And we were 2 years in, and we offered a full 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Because again, with my history and career as a rep, I didn't want anyone to have even a remote opportunity to say no thank you. So I offered a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and that way all of our reps could go out there and just say, just shut up and sign up. There's no risk. Let's see what it can do. Fill out the profile. You've got a whole month to play around with it. And the pushback on that was, I told my reps, I'm paying commissions till day 31, because if they rebill, your commissions will be paid immediately. If they ask for a refund, I don't feel like clawing back all the commissions. So everybody was cool with that. And about a year in, everybody's like, hey, can we stop giving the 30-day money-back guarantee? No one asked for their money back. No one. It was about 17 or 18 months when we made the transition over to Six Sigma Social. We had 0 people in that entire window ask for their money back. And out of, I don't know how many thousands of people that used the service, the only people that ever canceled were the ones that never used it. And it's so silly to say this, but we had people that were 4, 5, 6, 7 months billing, never filled out their financial profile, and then said, why am I paying, $30 a month? So we canceled, no penalty, no anything, but it was just amazing because we had the ability to go in and check. So we had a 0% drop rate from people that actually used it. So I share that story with you to say that's how powerful, Jerry, this product is. It's the only product, I've been doing this 30 years. It's the only product I'm aware of in our industry that you can look people in the eye and say, I guarantee you and your family will save money just as my customer, not by building a business and becoming a rep and all that. Just use our service and you will save money. So the free analysis is that powerful. And then I'm going to shut up and let you ask another question. But we now have reduced it to a 7-day money-back guarantee because we're saying, hey, fill out your profile, see how powerful it is. If you don't agree, we'll give you your money back. But because the reps were like, please, can we get paid faster than 31 days?
Okay, as Ziegler said, a cinch by the inch and hard by the yard. It's easier. The question I have for you, is there a link I can send someone, a puppy dog clothes, where they can just click on the link and work it without having to give up a credit card number first? Then I can follow up and say, okay, I'll send it to you. Check it out. Can I get back with you, Friday or whatever it is? And then move them from attempt, or what is that? Where can I find that link, John?
Every one of our influencers, for instance, Stephanie has in her replicated website the ability to send the link to the free analysis right from her site, because we want it linked to whoever. And again, I keep saying,
sure.
But we don't have the full boat one for people to fill out without them becoming a customer first.
All right. I've joined as an influencer yesterday, so I'll go I didn't see it, but I'll go in the back office and look for it.
I can do a share screen real fast just to make sure.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. That would be delightful.
Because you can see everything. Is that correct, Jerry?
Yes. You just can't see me, and I'll figure that out. So.
All right. I was looking around all kinds of things today. Shopping day. Now, John, when we do this, are we given any kind of notification when they actually do the free analysis?
I don't know if you get an email. You may not. I'm not sure. But part of the reason that we did not put that in initially was because we wanted our representatives actively involved. I'm a big fan of follow-up, and I'm a big fan of people doing a lot of this and then never, just because of life, not because they had bad intentions. You know, the dog barks, the kid yells, whatever, and then they lose focus. So I've been, throughout my career, very big on hand-holding, which means because of technology, even what we're doing right now, like using this as an example, I teach people use a face-to-face, whether it's Zoom, Facebook, FaceTime, but don't just send links to people. Go with the link, make sure they fill it out. And then, because what I want to be able to do is turn around and say, Stephanie, you can see right there in black and white, this is what it's going to do for you and your family. Now she can't go, let me think about it. But what are you going to think about? It's going to save you $37,000 in the next 4 years. If you're not sure, put your husband on, let me talk to him. That's exactly what I would say if we had a relationship, because I wouldn't let her off the hook with this product. With other products, whether it's skincare, nutrition, whatever, it's her call, because I'm asking her to either spend money she's not currently spending or redirect money from one product to another. With this, there's no defense. She can't tell me, no, I really don't want to save money, or I don't want to buy it, because she's not really buying anything from us. She's already bought the house, the car, whatever. So honestly, I'm a really big, huge fan of taking somebody there and letting the product close them, but being being involved and participating.
Awesome. Okay, so I have this in front of us. So would we send them that link, the sixsigmasocial.net/analysis?
I believe, yeah, that should be the one. I'm assuming it would still be connected to you if it were sent as a link, but I can't be sure. Those are the technical questions that my partners all live and breathe.
Great. And then if they click on it, do they only have one time to click on it, or?
No, it should be, this, as long as it's the one that's field facing and not the one that's in your wealth management system, it can be used over and over.
Oh, okay. For free.
Correct.
So then at what point do they want to sign up?
Well, remember, this is a very superficial one. It's not in depth. When you fill out your profile, it's going to take you 30, 40 minutes, because you're going to put everything in.
Okay. Okay. Do you see that, Jerry? Do you see the different questions it's asking?
Yeah.
All right. And then I just went to the free analysis right here.
Yeah, I just typed in from your header bar, and it took me to this Six Sigma Social free analysis. Whoops,
Okay.
That page can't be found. Sorry. No, it took me there, but it gave me an error message. So.
Oh, okay. I
Maybe
know
because
that
it's not a direct link.
Alexander said yesterday that you guys were doing an upgrade yesterday or last night.
Okay.
Yeah, we're making a huge transition with our programmers right now, and we'll actually be making a big announcement next week.
Okay. So Jerry, it did take me, I got to it.
Your how can I say, your sign-in name to identify you as the originator may be hidden in that header bar. That's why.
Correct. Right.
With invisible code. Yeah.
Okay. We'll get that information. We'll find out and let you know that exact link.
Yeah, because that offers that when I meet someone, then that gives me an opportunity to offer value up front with nothing in return.
Absolutely. And that's why we will always keep that free analysis, for that very reason, Jerry. I'm agreeing with you.
Yes.
Now, as far as the gas and energy, is there ways to give an example with that so they could see?
It's honestly, that's just simple math, but the reason why we say no is it's not an absolute. And what I mean by that is energy rates are very volatile. Have either of you been involved in the energy space with network marketing at all?
I'm not.
No.
Okay. It is the most awesome and can be the most frustrating, depending on how it's
Oh, that's cool.
deployed. And what I mean by that is in the early days, people were out there promising savings. I tell people, don't ever say that because the rates change like that. The choice that the customer makes, whether they choose a 6-month fixed, a 12-month fixed, a 24 or 36-month, within the same company is going to offer them different rates. And so the reality is most people, I won't say all, but I'll say 99.9% don't know what they're paying right now. They really don't, meaning they either go, holy smokes, this is high, start turning stuff off, or it's not a big deal and they don't care. But very few people on the planet know what they're paying per kilowatt hour for electricity. And the reality is most homes are between 600 and 1,000 kilowatt hours per month. So when you look at the savings, and I'm being just totally transparent with you guys because that's how I had to train with my last company. If I say I'm going to save you all this money, just put a dollar amount that pops into your head that you would expect to be saving. If I just started promising you huge savings on your utility bills.
Well, if you said huge savings, I would visualize, maybe like $50, $60 per month.
Yeah, that's what I would do too.
Perfect. And the reality is, and this is why I smile about it, on average, when a customer goes from company A to company B, it's a $10 to $12 swing either way. So if I'm looking you dead in the eye and I'm saying, listen, this is my energy company, blah, blah, blah. I need you to do me a favor, just be a customer. Here's what's going to happen. You're most likely going to either go up or down $10 to $12. Either way, I'm not changing your lifestyle at all. That's honestly, Jerry, why I built the no fee enrollment program, because I wanted to have the leverage to say to somebody, we're never going to change your life by converting your service. It's $10.
Right.
You're not going to buy a Ferrari if I save you $10. You're not going to file bankruptcy if it's $10 more. But if you become an influencer with us and you convert your energy and you refer people, not only do we pay you a bonus for each account you personally get, but you can earn residual commissions on hundreds or thousands, so that now that residual could actually be worth $300, $400, $500, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, as much as $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 this month if you want, based on everybody converting their electricity from whoever they have to Six Sigma Social Energy. But the reality is I would never use savings as a hook to get somebody, because in most cases, even if we're saving them money, it's like $7. What's the big deal? But if we're $1 more, now you're a liar. So I spent 5 years teaching people to never use that in their proposal or their pitch.
Sure.
Now, I will give you the one that you can't say no to. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
How'd you like to have your electric company pay your electric bill for you?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's the one that you can't get anywhere else. Meaning if you said, oh, that sounds good. And I said, okay, well, call your electric company right now and tell them you want them. And they'd be like, well, that's just silly. Of course they're not gonna. The idea is with Six Sigma Social, if you choose us, we're going to give you competitive rates. And that's always what we'll say. We're going to give you the most competitive rates. We also have added benefits that may provide you additional savings. But here's our real benefit. If you're willing to go out there and refer some people, we'll pay you up front for every customer you refer to us. And we'll pay you residually every month when they pay their bill. And if you're willing to work with me, we could go out there and create enough of a residual income that if your electric bill is $130 a month, we may be able to create a residual income to either offset it, or maybe if it was $60 a month, now at least you're getting a 50% discount off your electric bill. That is our value proposition to our customers. And there's zero cost. I'm not kidding when I say this. If a customer chooses to participate with us, they don't have any enrollment fee, and they don't pay the monthly influencer fee if they just want to participate in our customer referral program.
Cool, nice. So to backtrack on that, a customer has no fee for the energy gas. They have a $34.97 for the wealth debt, a $49.97 for the learning platform. And then do we know what Six Sigma will be?
It'll be the same.
Wait.
Six Sigma and the learning platform will always be the same retail. And we give them for free to our influencers with their back office.
Okay, perfect.
Are in the countries that you're currently in, that we're currently in, and the ones that we're in but not opened yet, do they have this full suite of learning, gas and electric and Six Sigma and everything available, or is it reduced by country?
It's the sad fact is it's not even by country. Arizona is not deregulated. In fact, let me give you the short history so it'll make sense. The company Six Sigma Social was conceived about 9 months ago, because Jim, back further. Jim and I have known each other since he was 18 years old. I knew him when he was going from high school to college and was his upline trainer in his very first network marketing company back in 1995 or 96. That's how long I've known him. He and I have watched each other's careers. We've stayed friends. We've had great respect for each other, but we haven't worked together since like 1998 or 1999. He reached out to me in February or March of this year and said, I have a really unique offer for you. And he said, I was commissioned by an energy company to develop a network marketing company, and I don't know the first thing about running a network marketing company. I had already been corporate with a few companies since 2004, and the last one that I ran was an energy supplier. So he said, you're the only guy I know with 3 decades of networking experience and almost 2 decades as a corporate officer as well. Please help. We put that together, and I didn't want to let go of the company that I already was running, which was MoneyWise, which was the debt elimination software. So I agreed to go from basically advising him to partnering with him. And the whole point of this story is our energy company only functions in a dozen states because the entire United States of America is not deregulated for gas and electricity, as silly as that sounds. The reason we have the debt elimination wealth management system is in every state. For instance, you're both in Arizona. If we were just electricity, you couldn't participate. You'd say, I don't have the ability to convert my residential electricity. But using Jerry as an example, you said you're originally from the Northeast, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to go out on a limb as a networker as well as just as a person. You know plenty of people in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. You might know people in Ohio, which are historically 4 of the best states for electricity and gas. Now, in the traditional MLM electricity companies, you can't participate. But with ours, you can enroll with Six Sigma Social, take the wealth management system, and be qualified. Now you can call either people that you know from your personal life or networkers, and they can enroll in those states. They can sign up their gas and electricity, and you can get paid on all those utility bills because we have an out-of-market product. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, that being said, Arizona is exactly the same as Canada and Australia and New Zealand for all intents and purposes because they can't have energy until we're there, if we're ever there, but they can have wealth management immediately. The difference between the US and Canada, Australia, and New Zealand right now is they can't earn commissions. I shouldn't say they can't earn them. They can sell product, they can recruit, they can earn commissions. We cannot pay them out until all of the licensing and certifications and all the other stuff is done. But the bottom line is we're allowing all of our influencers worldwide to begin to develop any networks that they want. And based on production in those markets, we will then go, do the filing and do the legal stuff to do business in those countries. So unlike every other MLM that, piecemeal guesses at where they want to go or throws mud up against the wall and sees what sticks, we're going to allow our influencers to guide us in the markets they want to go into. For instance, Canada was banging on the door, and I said, put people together in a pre-launch, and I promise we'll launch Canada. So they had like 57 people enroll in 48 hours to say, is that enough to get your attention? So that's how we knew Canada was serious. Same thing with Australia. And I will say to both of you, any markets that you have a strong influence in that you'd like us to go to, because our products are digital, it's that fast for us to do business, either selling the product to customers or recruiting influencers who take the product. We're not bound by the traditional MLM, got to have your product evaluated, got to have every ingredient tested and evaluated. It's all those things that delay growth. Ours is instantaneous.
The reason, and I mentioned this to Stephanie yesterday, I'm at Surge 365, but I've only been with them. I came out of retirement. I'm only with them a few weeks. So Stephanie's question was, do I have a big team? No, not yet. However, with that being said, the gentleman, a friend of mine, recruited me, 7-figure rig earner, multi-level, a couple of large companies. His wife he's the energy, she's the spark plug. She's Filipino. She is gangbusters. Most of their success and groups are Filipinos. They have a Filipino group. He's been with this other company about 4 months now. Huge group here in Arizona, one in, Colorado, 2 in Colorado, and so on and so forth. And they have a huge group in the Philippines. And they really do business with each other. So that's why I was looking at, when I approach, how do I carefully approach them, not to burn a bridge? So you've answered that question. Thank you, John.
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah. But how long, you mentioned you got 50 or 60 people in Canada. And I'm guessing the answer is it depends on how long with each country. From a week to a month to process dealing with the government. So it varies from location, country to country. Because everybody would need something different.
Correct. Each country has their own, I don't even know what you would call it, but there's a legal process to officially do business in those countries. And by officially do business, us to pay commissions.
Right.
Again, the fact that we all have such a high level of experience in our strengths. One of my partners, his name is Ian Bratt, he was in charge of international expansion for Nature Sunshine and Life Force. So he's got, again, like 27. It's really unique in that Ian and I have known each other, Jim and I have known each other. Jim and Sandra and Dr. Harry knew each other. So there's been a lot of history. But the long and short of it is, when we put this together, Ian was already my CEO at MoneyWise. So it's really funny. So it was, again, just a funny note. When you bring, I think we had 7 very high-profile executives together without anybody having a negative attitude. It was kind of like, okay, well, there's 3 CEOs. How are we going to do this? So I said to Ian, I'm like, do you really care about your title? He's like, no. I go, great. You're not CEO anymore. You're now Chief, International Expansion Officer. I said, do you care? He said, no. Because his strength was getting us into these international markets, while Sandra's strength was a CFO and Jim's strength was a CEO. I tell people all the time, I don't even care. I don't ever want to be at corporate. I want to be out in the field. That's what I've done since 2004. I've always been a corporate officer at a C-level that never had an office in the corporate headquarters because I was never there. So we've got a really unique situation where there's no egos. Everybody just wants to stay in their strike zone. But I bring that up only to say to you that I know very little to nothing about the international expansion other than I've got a very strong partner who's already done it for 2 other successful MLMs as they expanded internationally. And he's the one that made 3 phone calls to the legal team and came back and said, we've got a digital product. I can get us into any country you want in 72 hours, basically. And then it's based upon the production that determines whether or not we then invest a ton of money and all the legal jargon and crap to get us, publicly, quote unquote, open for business. But here's the good news. Nobody can get mad at us because it's directly dependent upon the growth in that market. So let's say Stephanie said, I want to open up France. I have a huge network in France. Well, if she doesn't produce, we don't ever have to go there. She can't get mad at us. But if she is producing, both she and we can see the network developing there. She can track every customer that's using the product in France, every influencer that's in France. She can calculate all commissions, and even the people there, even though we can't pay them, they can track. It's full transparency. They can track all of their growth, their commissions earned, and the only difference is we don't push the button that says pay until we're in business there, so that legally we're not violating any international, whatever you want to call it. But it's perfect because we don't have to hear from Stephanie every day going, when are we going to, it's like, Stephanie, you're the one watching it. When we gave you the number, when it hits this number, we'll invest all the money and the time to launch it. But instead, we're going to focus here on the US where it is growing. So it basically self-regulates. She doesn't get frustrated or think that we're just putting her off. And she can beat her own team up in France going, get to work. They said they'll do it. You guys got 17 people. So it's a perfect scenario in that we're instantly in business and everybody's got full transparency on when we take that final step, which is really when we have to invest all the money and the time with the legal team to get that done. So it really is going to be as fast as anybody wants and in the direction to the countries that they want, which I believe is the first time in network marketing history that the field controls that. I've never been, again, 3 decades, I've heard every complaint there was. I've never had a company that said, you tell us where you want to go, you show us, don't tell us about how group is, and we'll go. So yeah, we could be in the Philippines through that group, as fast as they wanted us.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Ian had experience with 2 other companies that sounded like they were physical products, which would pose, as Stephanie mentioned, many more hurdles and hoops to jump
over. Nutrition products, exactly, which is why he's perfect, because he smiles now going, I don't have to deal with ingredient testing. I don't have to deal with your batch order has expired and all that crap. It's a digital product and it's instantaneous.
We're getting it from the ship to the field.
It's at the docks.
Yeah, it's at the docks.
It's in quarantine. Yeah.
We've heard it all.
That's the reality with nutrition and skincare. That's the reality. You're dealing with stuff that no one has any control over.
Yes. And of course, when you leave the country, honesty, and in Mexico, it's called mortita. If you're
listen, I've been to Tanzania and to Guyana doing business. And man, if you don't grease them on the way in and on the way out, you're not going anywhere.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
I'm just happy not to get shot.
I've never had that stuff. Never had that cross my mind. No.
I was informed as a woman what I would have to do to get into the high-powered Mexican area. Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere international for a little while.
Right.
No.
So, Jerry, I wanted to let you know, and I'm not sure if I did yesterday or not, when I had asked Jim about both the Philippines and Afghanistan, the answers came back so fast as to what we needed to do or that we couldn't with the Afghanistan. There was no messing around with the company.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, John, you're familiar. You can't hit a target. You can't hit a goal. You can't hit a target you can't see or don't have. And
correct.
Your comment before was, when we hit that number, all righty? And I'm not asking you for that number today, but using Philippines as an example, when be able to go back and say, okay, this is the target, this is the goal. You can get 100 reps or 50 reps, but when they produce X, that's when, you know, they give them something. Here's 0, here's the marker, go for it. That's what I was alluding to.
And yes, we've already given the number to the Canadians and we've given the number to the Australians.
Good.
And that, honestly, that's just based on Ian doing the research of how much is it going to cost, because each country sets their, it's not like we at the U.S. determine that. Each country has their own. And so what basically we did was we just used the metrics of what our company will retain per account based on our margins, because we're still going to pay full commissions out on everything. When we hit this number of influencers and or this number of customers, then we can justify the expense to do that. Because again, we're not going to prematurely throw money into a country hoping it'll grow, and we won't delay once we have the production there. We're going to be very happy to put the money up so that we can push and have the commissions go through, because then, you know, that's like putting gas on the fire. If you can put, you know, 1,100 social influencers into a network pre-build, imagine what happens when they get paid.
Yeah, the energy would be terrific.
So all great questions, and I promise you we'll have a very crystal clear and intelligent answer for every other question that you come up with.
Right now,
no rookies on this team. That's the nice thing.
Who is?
There's no rookies on this team.
Oh, no. No.
Oh, I've been a part of too many yahoos that had zero business running a network marketing company.
Wow. Yeah, with a story or two to go with it.
What's that?
With a story or two to go with it.
Yeah, the story is I'm too pretty for prison. That's why they're still alive. I've watched people do some of the most crazy and despicable things just because they had no regard for the field.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the people who make those kinds of decisions in or out of network marketing have never walked in those shoes.
Well, here, I'll tell you a very funny one. On 2 different occasions, I would be sitting in a boardroom. And again, I was the executive that was never there. I never, ever had an office in any headquarters. I was always VP of sales and training, and I was always out. But I would always be summoned back every 3 months for like a quote unquote quarterly planning meeting. And this was always my final straw. When someone at that table would have an us versus them conversation, they got one warning shot across the bow. I said, next time you say that, I will come across the table and choke you out in front of everybody. I said, if you ever look at our field as them again, one of us doesn't walk out of here. And it happened at every company I've ever been a part of. This is the only company, because of Jim and I specifically, every decision is made for our field. And I've said this respectfully, because a lot of these people don't know me long term. I said, this is not a disrespect of any of us, myself included, but we don't matter. We're replaceable. I can get a new CFO, I can get a new CEO, I can get a new whatever. We can't get new field leadership. That's the death of a company. So they all understand from our pre-launch and beta phase, which is what we're in right now, that the only people that matter are our field.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Exactly. But the idea is the executives always think that they're something special. And I'm like, you're all replaceable. I'm replaceable. We are the moving parts that need to do it right, but can be replaced. They're the ones that can say, I'm going to another company and we're done.
All right. You had mentioned we're in the pre-launch beta phase. All right.
Yes, sir.
Hitting a target and building momentum. beta phase, I'm saying lovingly, will probably extend for an indeterminate period of time with different parts. But as far as pre-launch, are you going to have, or is it going to be a date out there as we build momentum that we're in pre-launch, come in, we're going to launch on X date just to build momentum towards a date out there? Has that been considered?
There's 3 different reasons for the beta test. And again, full transparency. How familiar are you with the whole Six Sigma way of thinking and their concept?
I'm a novice.
Okay. Let's just put it this way. They're the elite corporate training company on the planet.
That I'm aware of, yes.
And so they don't deal with anything other than perfection. So I say this with a smile. So then they meet me, and I'm like, okay, I come from a different world where perfect is the enemy of good enough. I said, so we're going to have to find a way to compromise and meet. And the reality is our company could have and should have been in business in June, July, and August, but we were delayed by an energy supplier and some nonsense that we were dealing with, because the goal was to be officially up and running the week after Labor Day weekend, that we would be doing our beta test phase and pre-launch phase through the summer when no one does anything anyway. Because of the delays that we experienced that were outside of our scope, when we finally got all that stuff worked out with the energy suppliers, I told my partners, I'm like, look, we've already lost the most important time of year, which is coming out of Labor Day weekend after the summer and building. We're now about to lose the fourth quarter because once we hit, Halloween, no one's doing squat until next year. So they wanted to wait until January to launch. And I was like, no, all of my reps will basically find something else to do and we will start from scratch. So I share the story with you to say I got them to agree that as long as we had literally beta test, pre-launch all over the place, since the name is Six Sigma, they don't want people to associate Six Sigma with anything other than excellent. And I respect that. We are in a beta test because we're not done, meaning we are right now still transforming the back office. It's not what we want it to be. It was manageable because I needed something so that my reps could put a credit card in, use the wealth management, and sign up a customer. Because again, I already had an existing business and existing reps that I moved over here. So I couldn't put them out of business for 6 months. That being said, this beta test now includes the energy, which we're open for business, but people are still kind of testing it. So as a gift, we're calling it beta test. It will probably stay in beta test, let's say definitely through the end of the year, maybe through January. And then we will pick an official launch date. And the official launch date, my guess, will be somewhere in March or April so that we can take advantage of the entire first quarter. But I don't want to give an official launch date until I know that every single account from energy comes in, can be tracked, can go through and it's a 60-day process from a customer being put into the system, going from a pending to an accepted, from accepted to being on flow. These are things that are out of our control with the energy supplier.
Yes.
And then they use it for a full 30 days before they get a bill. So I want to run as many customers as Six Sigma feels is important through that 60-day window before I say it's 100% smooth and we don't have any issues. Those are some of the, again, very transparent things that I want to work through before I'm going to sign off and say 100% accurate, nothing to be concerned with. And then the icing on the cake is I want to be able to give people an incentive. So we'll have some reward trip that we've now put out there and the qualifications to go on it. We're not an official company open for business if we don't have some form of a reward getaway vacation for people to be working towards. So that's a really long answer to your question, but assume beta phase through the end of this year, possibly through January, and then an official launch date in March or April. And when we announce, hey, this is our official launch date, we'll also have a reward trip as far as the incentive in place and all of the requirements to earn that in place.
No, that was a very on-target answer. Thank you, because it gives me and the others an opportunity to build momentum. Say we're in pre-launch and beta with a tentative launch date of the end of the first quarter. You've got 3 months to get. I mean, that's nebulous enough where if the slider moves up or back some, you're still working quote unquote in the first quarter. And
correct, but we're paying full commissions right now, so it's not like
now,
international where they have to wait. We're paying commissions out right now.
My other company I just joined, I'm not selling, no sales here. Sales hat is off, right? However, when you're ready to have that trip, are you familiar with Surge 365?
Only by name. I've not done any research into them.
I'm not trying to recruit you. Don't make a sign of the cross on the screen. But when you're ready to buy, it'll save a ton of money wherever you're going to go for the if you want. Offering also retail, Surge 65 makes travel available at wholesale prices. So when you're ready, save some money. Leave it at that.
Excellent. I appreciate that. I was actually a part of the very first MLM travel company back in 1995, New Concepts in Travel.
Wow. Are you familiar with what YTB was in the early 2000s?
Oh. YTB.
I'll take that as a yes, John.
YTB and Coach are a very sticky situation for me. I'll give you the short version, but I think it was 2007 or 2008 when they got in trouble in California with the Attorney General.
Yeah, when they got sued. Yeah.
Well, they were going to be shut down. I rescued them. I had a good friend who was one of their top producers. We got on the phone and we basically saved YTB, got them past all of their issues, and then Coach and their senior management team screwed them all out of their commissions. We had a company called Aisle 19. We were the first online e-commerce cashback program for MLM. And we implemented it right through YTB to give them the required customer count that they needed to survive.
Yes. And
what we found out after about 7 months was that we were paying commissions to them in bulk so they could pay it through their comp plan, and they weren't paying their reps. I found out about 6 or 7 months in and was just disgusted. And they never intended to pay their reps anything. They took the money, kept it, and then they started Zamzu afterwards. They blamed us, said, oh, we're getting rid of them because they didn't give us the money to pay your commissions, and they started their own company. So, yes, I'm very familiar with YTB, Coach, and most of their senior management and some of their leaders.
It sounds like it. It's as big as the direct sale industry is, it's a very small world.
Oh, yeah. And they're all very glad that I found Jesus.
Yes. And you said that. I'm a believer. I met Sandra and the late Michael through church. So it's a very, very small world.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the stories where I told you I've seen so many people take advantage of their sales force, their rep base. And see, I've never been a big fan of corporate because I seriously don't know 3 corporate teams, even the ones that you think that really are doing the right thing for their network. They're content with a 95 to 97% failure rate. They're content with 1,200 to 1,500% markup. Like, they're just things that are unacceptable to me because I am one of the few people that started as a peasant. I was a nobody and then earned my way to the top of a comp plan, figured it out, did it a second time, did it a third time, only to realize this was all just a gigantic scam, even with the good companies, because they could have done it better, cleaner, and shared the wealth with a larger percentage than 3 out of 100. So that's why I'm here.
Appreciated, admired. I saw the webinar you and Jim did, where you went in that in detail. So I understand. Good for you. God bless and good for you.
I appreciate it. I just feel that my gift was to figure out network marketing, and my responsibility was to clean it up.
Well, it looks like you've accomplished that.
We're close. As soon as we get out of beta phase, I'll say yes.
But you're projecting getting out of beta phase. You're not saying if we get out of beta phase. Big difference in the words there, Joe.
Oh yeah, no, it's a win. Trust me. It's one of those things where I just wake up every morning and I say, what do I get to deal with today? Because there's always something, but each day it's smaller, less, and easier.
Momentum.
But what we did, honestly, the easiest way to describe it, it's like being on a plane and swapping out an engine mid-flight. That's what we did. I had a company that was already just shy of 2 years in business, and then we transitioned it into a new merger of Six Sigma Management Institute, Social Point of View, and MoneyWise. And so the smart person would have shut his company down, started from scratch, but I'm like, no, we're going to keep doing this, because I didn't want to cost my reps that were used to a paycheck. I didn't want them to experience not getting paid. So I said, let's just be very acrobatic and do this. So yeah, what we've done is nothing short of amazing, to be honest with you.
Is the wealth management system the same as MoneyWise, or is it a different product?
Same exact product, different name.
Okay, so if I want to do some research in MoneyWise, I'll get a better overview of what the wealth management system can do then.
You go to the YouTube channel for MoneyWise, there's like 20 videos on there. The only reason that we don't have all that available yet for Six Sigma Social is we've had other stuff that we had to do. But yes, that's all available. Unofficially, we don't promote it or announce it, but the YouTube channel's still up. I have shorter hair because it was 2 years ago, and I've been letting it grow out. But other than that, it's all the same information. The pricing was $29.99. Here it's $34.95. But that's just because we've got a much higher comp with more bonuses.
Sure. So you'd be open if I did some videos and put them up on YouTube? Get exposure? That too premature?
I'm happy if you're not using the name Six Sigma Social. You're free to do anything that you want. If anything,
Got it. Yeah.
if anything has our name or brand on it, it just needs to go through compliance and marketing. But quite honestly, we've got so much content and information within the Facebook communities. This is one of the differences that really is a real difference. A lot of people say, you're just network marketing with a new name, social networking. But we're really not. Meaning, if you go into the Facebook communities, we have a wealth of video information on the product, on the training, on how to do things. A lot of Q&A, and we've got a lot more coming, but it'll all be there in the Facebook community. The only piece that's not yet is on the wealth management specifically, because everybody knows they can go find that on the YouTube channel for MoneyWise.
Cool. Well, thank you.
But I promise you, within the next 2 weeks, we will be doing all that as well for the wealth management system, meaning videos that are designed to answer the questions that the customers need to know.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
You're telling me the terrifying UPS man is here, so I'm just going to mute out for a couple of minutes.
Certainly.
Stephanie, we can't hear you.
Oh, you're muted, Stephanie.
Sorry about that. I was just telling John, though, that you've extended my list of people to connect with right now.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, with the wealth management system, there are there's not a specific best type of customer, but I will tell you, the real estate community, absolutely. If you can find one really sharp realtor, because there's two huge benefits that no one will ever think of. So I'll share them with you, and you can feel free to disseminate it. But the first one is, obviously everybody says, "Oh, I'll take it to everybody I've sold a home to help them get out of their mortgage faster," and that's obvious, but that's a small group of people if you look at their closed sales. One of the realtors that was really savvy redesigned all of her flyers. And so now if the home is listed for $425,000, she put right on there, "Ask me how you can save $75,000 and get it for $350." And I was like, "You can't do that." She goes, "Sure I can." She goes, "As long as we do this, I can show them how ultimately they'll save 70. And I said, "All right, I'm not going to tell you your business." But so she put right in there, and she did it because she wanted people to call her, and it separated her from every other realtor out there that might be marketing the same stuff. So I said, "All right, that's brilliant." And then about a month later, she came back. She goes, "I got a better use for this product." She started to think about how many unqualified prospects she dealt with on a month that couldn't get into a home because they were upside down with their debt to equity ratio. And she said, those are zero people, meaning there's tens of thousands of them that I can't make any money with, and I have zero chance of them ever finding me again when they are ready to buy a home. So now what she was doing was she was saying, "All right, Stephanie, look, you and your husband want to buy a home. Fantastic. You're upside down. You can't right now qualify for a mortgage. Do you really want a home?" "Yes, we want a home." "Okay, here's what you need to do. I'm going to put you on this program, and I'm going to monitor it with you every month. And as soon as your debt to equity is healthy, we're going to find a home and get you into a mortgage." She goes, "Number one, I got a customer for the debt elimination, but more important," she goes, "I've got a very sticky lead that when this family is finally qualified for a home, they're not going to even think about finding another realtor." So that was even bigger than just being able to post, a $75,000 reduction in price on a new home. She said, "I can find unqualified, people that want homes all day, every day." So feel free to run with that in Arizona.
All right. So if I gather 5, 10, 15 agents, can we do a scenario where they can learn how to do that?
I will even shave for that video. Yes.
Great. All right.
I will look pretty, and I will tell that. Yes.
Real estate agents, you have to look pretty.
I laugh at them all the time. They're always so made up, and I'm in shorts and flip flops. They're like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, "You're in the wrong business."
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
But yes, I'm more than happy to do that.
Great. Thank you. That would be great. I have quite a few.
Excellent.
In one instance, they saved $75. In the second instance, they gave somebody hope on an emotional level. There's an emotional connection when you say, "Let me help you," instead of "save money."
Correct. Well, in the first one, it's $75,000, meaning it's a big chunk.
Right.
But it's still a smaller market. You're right. She found that by being able to take these, zero opportunity people and give them, a game plan to get out of debt, that it was a no-brainer.
And an opportunity to backdoor them into the business.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I always believe for looking for the hungry, not just those with potential.
Oh, absolutely.
Those people are hungry.
Yeah,
but that's why I tell you, the debt elimination program is the best product in the history of our industry because it applies for everyone. It's the equivalent to if somebody came up with a product and said, "Eat 3 of these a day and you'll cure your cancer." That would be the only thing I could think of that would be a more powerful, because this is the cure for financial cancer.
Right. Right. Fantastic. That's great, John.
You're very welcome.
Great.
Any other questions, sir?
No, you've answered plenty of them, all of them. As a matter of fact, I was concerned when I originally spoke to Stephanie that, well, give me a couple of days to come up so I can have learn enough to ask you questions, and you've been marvelous. You've answered the questions I've had and more. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure, and I want to stress this. That's what I'm here for. So we're early stage in that we want to develop. Meaning Stephanie doesn't need my help, but I'm always here if there's anything that I can do. I'll extend the same thing to you, Jerry. It's
Thank you.
we want to help. We want to create an opportunity that the masses can all enroll and succeed. And by doing that, we're going to create the greatest opportunity and income for the leaders. So feel free to think of myself and Jim as your sponsor, even though we're not in the network.
What I'd like to do is that I understand, I was on Jim's Facebook page today. I understand what's going on, and that's all I'll say right now. All right.
Yes.
At some point in the future, if you and he would be able to speak with Frank and Tess, the ones that brought me into the business, because he's a seven-figure earner. I'm looking at it myopically, but to be able to bring him and offer the benefits of social media, which they just sort of kind of get it. But I'd like to break the ice, tickle them a little bit, and then have you and Jim get on and put it together if you can for them, the whole team. And in the meantime, I'll start working with the agents in the field to build momentum that way and just sort of start low and build up high, if you will.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your compassion. I basically told Jim to disappear and don't worry about the business. We don't have a timetable, but they've taken her off of life support, so they don't anticipate much more than another week.
Right.
And so I told him, I said, just spend your time with your mom. It's not like we can't handle this. And so I've talked to him enough to know that when she passes, he's going to be so ready to focus on business and move emotionally past that. So he will be begging for people to talk to, work with, and things to focus on.
Well, I will, when that moment in time occurs, whenever it occurs, doesn't matter. Let me know, because I will plant the seed with Frank and Tess to put the 4 or 5, and Stephanie, of course, the 6 of us on a call and see how we can convince, not to take away from what he's doing now, but to build for he and his team. And I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. In fact, steal this phrase, because again, it's why when I started my company, MoneyWise, why I chose the product. We're not competing with any other MLMs. It's a complementary product, and it's designed to create the money that people need to continue sustaining in their failed MLMs. And I tell people that point blank. If we're documenting that 9 out of 10 people never turn a profit, and you've got a finite window before those people quit. There's a reason that 85% attrition rate, has existed for 3 decades. So I'm not being sarcastic or condescending when I say to a networker, if you're serious about your business, you want to add this wealth management debt elimination software, because it'll help provide the money that people are not getting in your existing business. And if top earners are being honest, they know their attrition rate, they know the wash through, but by putting people on this product, you'll sustain them longer. And if they do drop off, you still have a residual with them.
What attracted me to the program?
Oh, can't hear you, Jerry.
What attracted, is that better?
No, something happened to your volume, Jerry.
How's this? Can you hear me now? Stephanie, you're out now.
I did. I muted myself so that there was no background noise. I just turned up my volume, John, and I could hear him better.
Okay. All right.
Let me check mine.
You can hear, just nod your head, Stephanie, if you can hear me. Okay, cool. I'm giving you the thumbs up, which you can't see. John, I didn't know there was a wealth management program. And you'll meet or speak with Jim, the gentleman that mentioned, spoke exceptionally highly of Stephanie. So I understand the power and the potency of Facebook. And I use the analogy for Stephanie. If I've been driving an American car and somebody gives me a Ferrari, what do I do? How do I start it? How do I shift it? It's there. I have the skills, but I haven't been trained. So I approach this with desire to leverage Facebook to build my business. And I hear your passion and energy about the financial system, but that's one hook. Getting back to the person who's saving $75,000, very little emotion there. But when you say build your business with Facebook and these tools and use the money management system, you're approaching them on a more emotional and logical basis at the same time. Because somebody might say, I don't care about wealth management. I don't like figures. I can do, but this Facebook thing. Or somebody that says, I don't care about Facebook, but I think by looking at both of them equally in your marketing, you're going to get double duty and twice the response.
Absolutely. In fact, that's why with our social influencers, we've chosen to give Jim's, social networking training and Six Sigma's Great Discovery, give it away to our influencers because we want them to be the most effective network possible. We want them to have the skill set from Six Sigma for critical thinking and problem solving and personal growth. And we want them to have, the secret sauce, Jim's very real method for creating new customers and new representatives, and then give them a product that if they want to go out there and sell, again, it's not even about the wealth management. To me, it's about eliminating an objection or eliminating a no. And I don't know a human being out there that can honestly say they don't have debt and or they don't need more money. And every other network marketing company out there forces you to join and build a huge group before you can see financial gain. We're the only program out there that has a product that says, just be my customer and create wealth with your existing job and eliminate your existing debts. That's the secret sauce with us, those three components.
And it may have been one of the things I missed, but as you go into the different countries, is your training available just in English, or are you translating it into other languages as well?
It will be translated in different languages. We're in the process right now of using one of our field leaders to translate into French for the folks that are in Quebec. And we'll do the same thing for the Spanish community. But right now, it's all in English.
And again, it's baby beta phase. So it's one English first and then move on. I have it. I got it, rather. Yes.
Correct. I have my volume all the way up, but for some reason it has dropped.
Is this better?
It's markedly below what I heard before and Stephanie.
Now?
I can hear you, but it's just very faint.
How about now?
Little better.
A little bit. That's so strange. I've done nothing on my end. Maybe my computer doesn't like the camera and the microphone anymore.
Like I said, I'm Fred Flintstone, so you're not going to get any criticism from me.
No, it's time I see you going to be doing more Skyping and Zooming. I will upgrade my equipment and make sure it works.
Absolutely. It will help because we do 90% of it online.
Yeah, I understand. That's terrific. Well,
Excellent.
You've been just a godsend and a wealth of information. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Again, it's my pleasure, and I look forward to doing our next call. Stephanie, thank you for setting this up and for reaching out. And please give my best to Jim. I look forward to speaking with him. That's the beauty of being able to do this. If something came up, he couldn't be here, but it doesn't prevent us from doing business. That's what I love about being able to do it now virtually.
Right. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, John and Jerry, for your time today. I'm really happy that you guys got a chance to meet and discuss everything. And Jerry, I think this is definitely giving you the confidence to share it with several other people. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Stephanie.
Yeah, I figured so. John, thank you so much for being you. And we're getting out there. We're gonna let people know about this.
Excellent. I'm excited. Wish you both a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to the next time we speak. Jerry, please feel free to friend me on Facebook. That's how Stephanie and I communicate, both on Facebook Messenger, as well as I can give you both. If you don't have my cell phone, I'll give you my cell phone number right now.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Cell phone is area code 609 352
Yes.
1258.
Alrighty.
And just drop me a text. That way I can put you in there and we'll be good to go.
Super. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.